Hi guys. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody that saw the video that I uploaded about 2 to 3 days ago regarding the status that I saw on Instagram and all the replies that person received. I got a lot of comments regarding that video, and I actually was expecting um, those comments, or at least hoping for those comments to come since uh, um, what was seen in those comments was basically unexplicable, and the type of manner in which such called humans can behave. It's basically unbelievable. So I was expecting comments of people being amazed because, like I said, these things aren't something that you see very common or very frequently on your normal Instagram accounts or things like that. Like I said, I follow portals and different pages regarding depression, anxiety relief, and things like that. And I follow a lot of people that which I talk to, and I lend a hand, and I tend to talk to them pretty frequently just to see how they're doing, and to see if they need to talk to me, or if there's something different that they want to let me know, if something has changed, if something in the way they feel has changed, or anything like that. And basically, um, yeah, all the responses I got were basically like that, like, I can't believe these things are happening, or how can people say that? But like I said in the video, guys, this is something that happens very frequently. I see it a lot of times, and to be honest, out of 7 days a week, I see it about five, and things even worse than that, even heavier than that. But at that moment, I was just not well. In the past, I didn't have any channel, I didn't have any um any place to put the videos, or inform people what was going on. And now that I do, I just felt that need of showing the world and showing the people that are not in that circle what happens inside, and the type of people that we can encounter and how dangerous it can be. Like I said before, these type of comments can be extremely dangerous, because we all know that there has been a lot of cases where somebody has told somebody, go kill yourself, and that person has gone and done it. There has been a lot of bullying campaigns around the world regarding this type of situations where people get bullied at school, people get bullied in their sports team, people get bullied through the internet, and it all ends up in a suicidal circumstance. And in this case, we definitely saw how bad he was feeling, how depressive he felt at that moment, and all the responses he got was basically go kill himself. I wrote him to see if he was okay, and basically block all those comments out of his mind, and basically um, just see if he was doing fine. He didn't reply at the moment, so I was pretty worried. But later on, um, after I finished the video, he did respond, and everything. So we were able to have a talk, and talk a little bit regarding that, and that things like that makes no sense, and that he shouldn't even bother paying attention to it. So this video is basically to continue the line that I was following of my anxiety transition into depression. That was basically at the moment that I was, which was anxiety, going through 4 to 5 years of anxiety, and how I managed it through high school, and how I lived through high school, which was pretty complicated for me, since I thought I was capable of managing it myself, and I was capable of finding a solution by myself, since I've always been that type of person of if I have a problem, I solve it myself. That's how I've always been. I don't know, it's something that I have to change, and for me it's pretty difficult to think another way, but I know I have to change that way of thinking. Also, yeah, moving a little bit forward, my anxiety turned into depression, um, from basically one step to another. And everybody that has gone through depression or anxiety knows that one of the first steps that we have to take is go to a psychologist. Obviously, I went through that step as well, and to be honest, and like I said, the first video, I'm gonna be completely open with you guys, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pour sprinkles on what I'm gonna say. Like, there's a famous saying, if you don't like it, put sugar on it. But it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be bare, and it's gonna be raw, and it's gonna be what I feel, and it's gonna be what I think, which I consider is what people need to hear in order to realize the truth, and how things really go down sometimes. So, psychologist did work for me at the beginning, about a couple months to be honest, which was just the phase of digging and digging and digging inside yourself, trying to find the reason why you were feeling bad or the reason why you were going through anxiety or starting depression and things like that. So they ask you if your family has been, um, if the nucleus of your family has been stable, if your family has had any type of separation discussions, if you're okay with your dad, if you're okay with your mom, if you're okay with your brother and sisters, all those questions which are typical of psychologist process and therapy. And I respect it completely. I know that they do it with the best intentions and things like that. But like I said, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be talking about how it impacted me and how it worked in my life. For me, at the beginning, it worked just to get a little bit of anger that I had inside of me regarding some family issues that I had in the past. But besides that, my anxiety and depression continued, and there was nothing that the psychologist could do about it, and she was quite aware of that. After a while, she knew that what was going on was definitely something more severe than just a normal talk of, oh, are you okay with your dad and are you okay with your mom? She definitely knew that it was something that needed more attention and more investigation, a little bit deeper in the psychiatrist part, not in the psychologist part. So she referred me to a psychiatrist, and that's when I was going through the middle of, maybe not the middle, but the beginning of my depression, which was on, in a scale from 1 to 10, I would place it on a 3, like on severe how my depression was at that moment. And at that moment, I started going to general doctors and a psychiatrist to be regulated. Basically, they would send me blood exams and they would send me all type of just they needed samples of everything just to see how my body was working chemically. They started providing me medication with um, I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English, but I think it's called clonazepam, something like that. And then the other one is hydrophenamine, which is basically what they used to make me go to sleep. Since I had also sleep deprivation, which is another thing that came with my anxiety and depression. I started to have no sleep at all. I would sleep half an hour, and the half an hour I would sleep, it would be only nightmares. What would be in those nightmares? I'll talk about that in another video because that is a complete whole video I can talk about that, because that is escalating from the 3 I told you to definitely like 6 or 7. So yeah, I started taking those medications. They first provided me with one pill each, one clonazepam in the morning, of 25 mg, and then one the hydrophenamine. I'm not sure the name of the medication, but it's basically to sleep. It's the same thing that you find on a sleeping aid. So the amount was just one pill in the morning of that one and one pill at night to sleep, and they did absolutely nothing on me. And when I mean nothing whatsoever. When I would take the clonazepam in the morning, my anxiety would maintain the same. Nothing would change. I would feel the same way. I would still get anxiety. I would still get sweaty hands, and my mind would just start running wild. And it was a little bit more complicated because you're like, okay, I took a pill and I still feel anxiety, and you start getting more anxious because you start thinking, okay, this is not working. Then okay, then they're gonna send me more pills, and this is not what I want. It's gonna be even worse, and what's going on? And your brain just starts working, and things start moving around, which definitely brings you to a worse part than you were before. So basically, I was going through appointments basically 3 times every 3 months, because that's how it works here in Costa Rica. That's something that I can't do much about, but I had appointments every 3 months, which was a regular psychiatrist would probably see you at least 2 times a month, or at minimum once a month. But here it's a bit complicated. So I would see him. I was seeing him. I'm sorry. I just finished working and my tongue is completely twisted and wrapped, and I apologize for that. And I'm also a bit tired. And that being said, I can continue on. And mm, every time that we would see each other at the appointment, he would be like, "So Jason, tell me, how has it been?" I'll be like, "Doctor, those pills haven't done absolutely nothing to me. Like, I have anxiety even more than I had before. I can't sleep at all. When I sleep, it's pure nightmares. That things that I can't, I don't even want to mention, because they're pretty severe, and um, I just feel uncomfortable talking about it, and I don't know if that medication is the correct one, and this and that, and they would just boost up the pills. They'll be like, okay, you're taking one and one, now you're taking two and two, two in the morning, and then two to sleep. Or take two and two, and nothing. Nothing whatsoever. No help in anxiety, no help in sleeping, no help in anything. And you grab those pills and you give it to somebody else, and they're out for at least a week. And yes, I am joking, but in that sense, yes, you would knock somebody out with those pills, and they would do absolutely nothing to me. I would go to sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning, not because I wanted to sleep, but because my body would just be like, okay, I can't do anything no more. I'm gonna shut you off, and I would not sleep. I would be literally shut off. My brain would just be like, and Jason's gone. Like, and I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and still feel tired, because what went through my mind throughout the whole time that I was sleeping was nightmares and nightmares and nightmares and more nightmares. I would wake up, um, grab some water to drink, um, and then have more nightmares when I would go to sleep again. So you would basically reach that point of desperation. I'm sorry, and you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what to think. You wouldn't know how to act. You wouldn't know what was gonna happen from that point on. You basically wouldn't know anything. You know why? Because you were hoping so many things would get better with at least medication, that at the end just finish being another weight on your back, another burden to carry, or however you want to say. Sorry, like that. That's how I can describe it. And it was just disappointing in general, because you would be like, and I know maybe they really say it with their heart, and they really wish that it would be like that. When you see a doctor and you see a psychiatrist, they'll be like, oh, you're gonna see that this is gonna work, and you're gonna feel much better, and be positive. Everything's gonna go there, go Jason, go, and you would boost your emotions, and you would be motivated, at least given hope that that medicine would work. And then going 3 months into that, and knowing that in 3 months nothing has happened besides you feeling worse, and going to that appointment and telling him, doctor, that helped absolutely and nothing, and I feel even worse. And for him telling you, okay, then we're gonna boost up the medicine, and then wait 3 months more, and then go back to him and tell him, doctor, you gave me two and two have done absolutely nothing on me. So what are we gonna do? Response, we're gonna boost it up more. And yes, I was taking three, and nothing was working on my body. And I was, at that point, you guys can imagine, you'll be like, okay, either I'm not human, or these pills are made out of sugar. Simple as that. They're not real pills. They were made out of sugar, and that's why they're not working, or I'm from another planet. So, with that being said, it just kept on going like that throughout so many years, when they started sending me antidepressants, and started sending me different type of sleeping medication, which would just bomb my brain to basically knock me out, and it would still not work. And I'm talking about a cocktail of around 6 to 7 pills at night, and then antidepressants in the morning, 1 to 2, and then nothing of that would work. You can start imagining, or you can now imagine how I felt, or how a person with depression can feel having depression, which is clearly you do not feel okay. You feel depressed. You feel that your life is going completely wrong, that there's no reason for you to be in this world, that nothing that you do or will do is correct, and that nothing that you will say, think, or express has any value. Plus, adding months of super strong medication, plus adding that medication not working. So imagine how you can feel and how much hope in general you can have of first the problem being solved, of second you having a resolution positive in your life, and third of all, when is it going to end? That is the main question we always ask each other when we're in a depressive state or we have depression. That is our everyday question. When is this going to end? And that is what goes around in our minds the whole day. Since we wake up till we go to sleep, that is the question. When is this going to end? And you know what's the worst part and the most hardcore part about it? That the response is always there, but you don't want to get into that. Even though your mind has a response for it, you don't want to go there. And sometimes we let ourselves go there, and that's when bad things happen. And when I mean bad things, I mean bad things happen. There's always a response to when is it gonna end. And I'm gonna make it short, and I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm gonna tell you what the response is, and then you guys can imagine the rest of the situation. So we always ask each other when is it gonna end, and our brain automatically responds, it's gonna end when you want it to end, or when you end it. Simple as that. It ends when you end it, guys. And I'm not making this up. People with depression will see this video and say he is completely right, and it's the toughest part to acknowledge and to say yes, that is what happens. That is what comes to our minds, even though we don't think about it. That is what comes to our minds, even though we're not in that state of wanting to do something similar to that, or whatever, but it gets in our minds and it takes over our minds, and it comes to a point that if you do not control it, it takes over you and it ends. Everything that you went through, all the medication, all the appointments, all the things you had to go through, it ended. Because you had that question of when is it going to end? You responded to yourself, you, whenever you ended. That's it. That's when it ends. Because there is no other escape. That is what your mind has said. Since you experienced so many things throughout so many years, so many medication that doesn't work, so many people saying, oh, this is going to work, or oh, go here and talk to this person, this is going to work, and you go. You take that medication, it doesn't work. You go to so many appointments, more than 10, 15, nothing works. You go to talk to that person, nothing works. And then what are you going to think as a human being? What are you going to think besides how and when is this going to end? I need it to end as soon as possible because I am tired completely of what's going on and I can't handle it anymore. So this is just to give you guys an understanding of how transition from anxiety to depression works and how deep it can get from one moment to another, and it can get very deep and completely dark in that room where you are by yourself.